Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Patrick. I'm the CEO of Orukka. So I want to talk about Bitcoin. I want to talk about altcoins. Other coins is what I call them. Call them altcoins. I call them other coins because they came out of Bitcoin. And I want to talk about central bank digital currencies. Okay, those three, and we can compare them both. So let's start. Okay, so the idea is, how did these three come about, right? Bitcoin, other coins like Ethereum, blockchain, all the funny ones you hear across the blockchain. Then lastly, central bank digital currencies. Why? It all came about because of failure of the fiat system. And so fiat failed in the sense that if I give you 10,000 right now, if I give you 10,000, actually I'll give you 10,000 right now, by December, your 10,000 is worth less. Okay, that's forgetting the tax. That's forgetting any state tax, anything you pay. If you just leave that money there, just do nothing, it deteriorates, it becomes worse. Yeah? They call it inflation, but it just lost value in the space of 1 year. So you better spend that money immediately. Okay, which is crazy to think about, that you could just leave something and it becomes worse. So that's a failure. And that's where Bitcoin came in. And the idea was to make it decentralized, okay, so that nobody uses it, no one controls it, okay? So I'll get into that because it's important to know the difference as and when we continue to use this, okay? And just to be careful out there. Who am I? So I'm the CEO of Orukka Monesave. Monesave is an app, and we launched Orukka just 9 months ago. We're a payment ring provider. We allow you tap to pay with your ring. And what does that mean? That means you can easily, with your ring, okay, tap to pay with no need for your wallet, no need for your phones. Okay, so we made that call to say that we know the next few years, cash obviously is going down. People are still holding on to it for the sake of it, but you can't walk around with $1,000 in cash in your pocket. You're going to be panicking, okay? You can't go out at night with that much cash, but you can put that all on an app. And then apps, phones, I can tell you phones are going down already. My battery is already low. It's warning me it's 10%. So it's going to get to a stage where you can't rely on your phones anymore, especially with social media. And phones are for social media mostly, including WhatsApp, which is social media as far as I'm concerned, again, because you're not really calling anybody other than to just chat in a group, as you do anyway with Facebook or with Instagram. Okay. So by the way, I'm at the airport, so we must hear that silly sound. But the point I'm trying to make there is, sorry about the backgrounds. Hope it's not too loud. I don't know why they keep announcing that, by the way. Just go to where you want to go. And by the way, if you can't tell, I'm in Switzerland. There you go, Switzerland. So, and it's very cold out there. Oh, that's a flight to Amsterdam. Okay, that's not me. So apparently there's a huge adverse weather condition in Amsterdam. We are -5 here, so Amsterdam is worse, I think. I hope everyone's safe there. I hope people keep warm because the weather is bad. But going back to crypto, okay, so let's talk about crypto. So crypto, again, we're a payment ring provider. So that means we're not pro-crypto, pro-fiat, we're not anywhere. If you want to pay, we make payment, you use our rings, and you can decide where you want to pay. If you want to pay with crypto, if you want to pay with cash, if you want to pay with bank transfer, you could do all that with your ring, okay? So we want to make people safe, want to make convenient so that you walk around with your bank on your finger, okay? I say that because people say to me, oh my goodness, you're pro-fiat. I'm like, no, it's just I've worked in banking all my life, so I know about banking, okay? And then you go in at some other people say to me, hey, you're pro-crypto. I'm like, no, I can see the banking is failed. Banking is failing. Okay, so we need to do better, or we need to find out how we can help, okay, because you have the experience, you help and bring crypto to play, right? And a lot of bankers these days, you see them, Jamie Dimon was one of those, we had Larry Fink, all these guys that made fun of crypto. But the only reason they're now in crypto is only because customers have said to them, hey, if you don't join that crypto now, we're leaving. In fact, most of them have left before they decided to go with it. So for me, and I've done that from the start, you listen to customers. Customers came to me and said, hey, we want a fitness ring and a payment ring in one. We launched it. Customers say, hey, we want a business ring that replaces our POS terminal. So this ring, you can tap to receive payment. And this ring, you can tap to make a payment. So if you're a customer, you're using this ring to pay. If you're a business, you're using this ring to receive. And how that money goes from A to B is none of your business. So you don't care. Right? All you want to do is that if I pay you $1, you receive $1. That's what our customers care about. That's what you care about. You don't care if it's fiat, crypto, but no, you just want to make sure that who you pay, you receive. And that was the point with money. Money used to be that if you go in and I pay your salary, pay a salary of 10,000, or salary used to be salt. So if you pay salt, if I pay you salt or grains of a bag of salt, that was your salary. And you're sure the salt is going to be there. See, it's still the same value, right? The value hasn't dropped because you still had the salt. But replace that with fiat, and then fiat started to fail because it became worthless with time. If I pay you $10,000 in 1 year, it's worth less. And how is that fair on you, who's just worked, put all your resources in there, got taxed, and then you put the tax money, you put it aside, and then it's losing value every year. And they call that inflation. Economists actually, some argue that it's good because it's growing the economy. But what are you growing the economy at? At what pace, right? Maybe taxes should be inflationary. Why don't we do that? Why do taxes not go down? Yeah, but taxes stay the same level. It's not go up sometimes, depending on the politician. Yeah, so that's not fair on people, I think. But I say all that to say, the three types we have. So we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin was, again, invented by Satoshi, or whatever that nickname is. And Satoshi, as everyone knows, could be CIA. Okay, it could be a programmer. It could be a philanthropist. It could be anyone. Okay, because the person still has the cash and hasn't spent it. It could be an institution. It could actually be the Rothschild, for all we know, because you have to be so rich that you're not actually withdrawing that money. But whoever it is, whoever invented it is almost pointless at this point because the code is open. You can see the code. If you go into Bitcoin, it's actually, I think it's bitcoin.org, you can see the original code and you can pick it up, you can examine it. In fact, you can create yours, you can fork yours and create yours. And that's where Ethereum and other types of Bitcoin, Solana came from. They came up from forked code. Okay, and they created these things. So they've got their own code as well, which is a different, and I'll come to that, right? In terms of they as people doing where you can see them, okay? And then based on this, we see that a lot of people started getting duped, okay? The money started getting stolen. The scammers started exploiting that because once you send the money across the blockchain, if you can't trace it, you can't ask for the money back. In terms of banking, you can't ask for the money back. And here you can't. You started to lose money there. People started to get worried and concerned. That's why you have central banks now issuing their own digital currency. You have countries like Nigeria where they have the e-naira. The e-naira is 1-to-1. You also have, I think, Haiti have their currency as well. Europe are trying to come up with theirs as well. America less so, but America, I'm sure they will. You will have to. Okay, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But you have to at this point because you're just issuing a digital currency of yourself, of your own currency, and it's 1-to-1. Okay, how it works in the future, I think, is something that we are working with these governments to try and figure out together. Okay, I say that because people worry, and there's always the what do you call them? People come up with these fantasy theories, I'll call them, to say that they're being monitored. Okay, and when you have your cash is being monitored. Unless you come up with grains, because grains, you had to work for grains. Okay, when you work for grains, you're picking up from the ground. Okay, you might report it to the authorities, but it's from the ground. You're growing it, and then you pass on those grains, and that used to be money. So it's your effort that you're giving for money, and when you pass that on, you're passing that on. People are not involved. There's no third party there. But then when it became gold again, you had to mine gold. Steel is one of the toughest, resources to mine. It's still seen as scarce. And then that becomes then that when you give that to people, it's appreciated. Okay. But when we move to fiat, and it was no longer pegged to gold, when it's no longer 1-to-1 against gold, what does that mean? That means simple, the government. You're using the government's money. So when you go in and you say, hey, I'm going from, I'm Switzerland. Yeah, so I'm going from Switzerland to the US, I have to declare the amount of cash I have with me. Am I going to say that's king? That's not king, because you're actually declaring that you're having to tell how much money you're going into that country with to the government.